Do you guys have standout episode favorites from book 3?
I mean, book 3 has, I would say the most of my favorites in it. Combustion Man is awesome. The Avatar and the Fire Lord episode, just like world building wise, was like, very meaty and lots of cool stuff that all the writers had put in there to, bolster like the backstory of Sozin and Ozai and that whole history.
It's a really ambitious story to tell in one episode, right?
Yeah, there's a lot in there. Definitely.
In a great way.
There was a point where we were like, should this be 2 parts? But it was like, we only had a limited number of episodes. So it was like, we had all this other stuff we wanted to get to. Obviously Ember Island Players is totally on the other end of the spectrum of like hilarious, wacky sort of episode, our version of Eclipse episode that,
best ever. One of the best concepts.
Yeah. It was like a wild concept, but totally worked great. And then the finale, there's some tons of great stuff in the finale, especially Joaquim Dos Santos directed the last 2 parts. And it is like a movie. Like I remember we got to watch it at Paramount for like the kind of wrap premiere party, or I forget which party it was, but it was, crew, cast, everyone came and got to see it on the big screen, and it felt like a big movie experience, which was cool.
I guess that's the answer for where was I when I watched. So that was it. That's where we were. That's the place.
Yeah, it was a big wrap party. It was fun. I did. The headband is another one. I love all the ones Mike said, but and we were just talking about this. It's like the kind of like the filler episode controversy, but it's funny when I look back, some of the like filler episodes are some of my favorites, and I think it's because it's a chance. It's a chance to let a character, like if they're done well, it's a chance to like let the character's personality take a spin, and you get to see them in some circumstance. And I think like for me, it was like because Aang had his culture, like that's a light, funny episode, but like here's a dark spin on it. It's like Aang had his culture like ripped away from him, and he kind of had that experience taken away from him by the fire culture. But here he was in the fire culture, like getting to have that experience. And Dante was was joking in the beginning, like it's some good people in the Fire Nation. There are, these are just innocent kids who are being fed propaganda and being spoon fed a manufactured worldview, and they didn't know, and I liked seeing that side of the Fire Nation. So again, it's like, it's technically filler maybe, but
technically filler. I don't know. I don't care for this.
I don't know, but it really enriched. I thought it enriched. The sort of read on the Fire Nation and just our characters, and there's just hilarious stuff in it,
and to see
really
everybody
good animation.
See the gang in the Fire Nation fashion, not bad. I mean, looking good in those Fire Nation fashion,
Yeah, growing up seeing Star Wars in the theater and just seeing Han and Luke in the stormtrooper uniforms, like there was just something.
It's cool.
So cool is seeing your heroes wearing the villain outfits, and I think that just burned into my brain, and it was just you kind of have the Smurfette syndrome where animated characters wear the same thing every day. So it's nice when you get to like we'll give them new outfits for this season or something. Like it's just fun to refresh their looks and stuff.
I'm gonna resist bringing up how Tron can touch a person from the red side and become red instead of blue, because that's not where not where you're going. But again,
shout out to Tron.
I always love
see it
Tron.
everywhere.
I'm always happy.
It's just the beginning of the third season. It's the first Tron reference.
I know,
Janet. First Tron reference, beginning of season 3. You guys, first Tron reference from Janet Varney. Thank you. But I would also like to give a good shout out to the beach.
Yes.
Oh, it's another great one.
People love that beach episode, as do we. Oh, love it.
I can't wait to get to the beach.
That's again another crazy chance to sort of humanize the Fire Nation characters and culture. And that was a fun one. But you all are reminding me that book 3, it's pretty good. There's some good episodes.
Yes, it's hot. It's fire. It's fire. Book 3 is fire, everybody. Just so y'all know. Book 3 is fire
in every way. Fire. Okay, so I'm reading the Avatar art book, you guys. And there is a page in which we see the palace. In the palace hall, we see paintings of past Fire Lords. In the book, you explain that you only had names for the final 3 that are pictured. We know Sozin, we know Azula, and we know Ozai. Did you guys ever name those first 2? Do you remember do you know if there are names of those first 2?
I don't think we had names back then, but names are going to exist because we're expanding some of that stuff through the novels and the Magpie game may have some information too.
But because
this is the thing. Right. The world building is getting so big that I can't keep it all in my head. I'm like, I think maybe we have that name somewhere and I have to go look it up. And
Z-centric.
So yeah.
Well, yeah. I did play the RPG game and I did play an earthbender and I named him Ezra.
Oh, what a slap in the face to the Earth Nation. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Dante, because I did think we could pitch you some names. Now, it sounds like maybe you guys have already named them. But if for some reason it's not too late and you feel inspired, we do have a couple of suggestions. I'd like to pitch Zodiac as a name of one of the Fire Lords. You got anything,
killer?
Dante? I do like Zodiac is also a horoscope.
Ozone. I do like Ozone because Ozone and Turbo from Breaking the Movie was played by my man Shabba-Doo. Like Ozone.
How about Laser or Blaze?
Laser.
Yes. Blaze with a Z is good. Oh, Ice. Blaze with a Z is good.
Azure. It's like Azula, but Azure could be like the like upbeat counterpart.
Azure.
I was gonna say Fire Lord Bob and Fire Lord Steve. I thought those would be pretty good.
Quick question. In the future, even though Azula was only Fire Lord for like a hot second, is she going to get a picture or no?
On the wall.
Because obviously Zuko's going to have a nice thing.
Yeah,
but there could be a small 8x10 of Azula for like a hot second. A few days.
I think Zuko's doing some remodeling of the palace after he takes over. I don't know that those portraits are going to stay up for long.
Those portraits don't stay up maybe in the library. Maybe in the library.
Yeah. It's in like a supply closet. There's like
supply closet. 8x10 of Azula's reign for a day.
That's really nice. Can you tell us really quickly about, we meet Sokka's master in this season, and we don't stay with him forever, but he definitely makes an impression. He packs a punch. Can you tell us just a little bit about that character and what real person that character was modeled off of on some level?
Yeah, I think we thought, Kisu had been such a big part of the martial arts development throughout, from like during development and then throughout the series. So thought we would, visually model a character after him. So Piandao was the sword master. And that was a fun episode too. It was neat to give Sokka an episode where he sort of revealed his insecurities about being a non-bender.
What's your problem? You haven't even touched your smoked sea slug.
It's just, all you guys can do this awesome bending stuff, like putting out forest fires and flying around and making other stuff fly around. I can't fly around, okay? I can't do anything.
It was cool to give Kisu not just a character, but a character who was going to be a teacher, which obviously reflected like his role with me, like being his student throughout development. And then, he's kind of teaching us.
Me too. Throughout. I took some classes also. Shout out to Sifu Kisu. I was in that park, right? I was in the park right there off of Fountain.
Yeah.
Let's go, Sifu Kisu.
So that was fun.
That extends all the way to his sword collection, right? Because
I think I can't remember when we designed the sword. We might have been inspired by one of the ones in his collection.
If that's how
Yeah, I told you, Janet, we did that article a long time ago. So I don't remember every detail. But
I'm such a dork.
but then someone down the road from Nickelodeon Animation Studios made that sword out of a real meteorite. And it was like an episode. It was like a YouTube show. And we went after the episode. We went and met him, and we checked out the sword. And I was thinking like, I'm going to buy the sword, and it was $10,000. So I did not buy the sword.
Whoa!
But I was like, I'm glad it exists.
Oh my goodness!
So we got to hold it. We took some pictures. You know, it was very cool. But it was actually what was really interesting. It was forged. The blade was forged out of a meteorite. And it looked like what we drew. It was like black with these sort of these like swirly marks in it. And
was it heavy? It was thin.
Yeah,
it's a thin
it was
sword.
heavy. It was pretty heavy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was cool.
Wow, $10,000, you guys.
I know.
Look for it on eBay.
When you create a world and then it grows away from you, that's the kind of financial shock you're going to have when you find out.
What is that?
Bend your ear for ad-free episodes with Avatar Braving the Elements Premium.
Subscribe today on Apple Podcasts.